Er is een bepaalde, zeer intense energie aanwezig. Ik weet niet of jullie hem kunnen voelen, maar het is een energie die probeert om dit geheel hier geen eenheid te laten worden. Het is een energie die ik zeer goed ken. Het is die energie die we beschrijven als denkgeest. Uiteraard. Wij gaan hier nu aan voorbij staan. Als geheel. Als eenheid. Ik ben er zeker van dat degene die naar binnen zal komen hier ook meer over zal vertellen zo dadelijk. Oké. I am that I am, Adamus Saint Germain. Welcome, beloved Imzaia. Welcome in this gathering, this coming together of energies. Before we really get going with what we came here to do in the coming 5 days, I would love an opportunity to speak to you personally, on a one-on-one level, as they say. This is something that I'm about to say that is not meant for the rest of this planet. It is not meant for your website. It is not meant for anything, except for your hearts, except for your ears. It's very funny actually, Jeshua here, and you probably as well expected Ekara to come in, expected Ekara to come and to open up this last chapter of what you are calling the Universal Manifest. It's still a little bit early to do that. Just slightly too early. It has to do with all of you here. I want to talk to you about fear. I want to talk to you about pain. I want to talk to you about not taking chances when chances are so clearly offered to you. I am very much like you, like all of you. I used to have a body. I used to have a life. I had good hair days and I had bad hair days. I had moments in my life when everything seemed to work out for me, and I had moments in my life when nothing seemed to work. I had moments when I felt that union that you can have with other flesh that feels like it is the unification of all things, and I had moments in my life when nothing seemed to communicate with me. It was as though all the world, everything else around me was shut off from me, and I could not communicate with any other person, any other thing. I couldn't communicate with anything. I have had these moments. And I also had the moment that you are about to step into in the coming days. You know, as things are changing on planet Earth, as hopes and fears are changing their face, as the entire cosmos is waiting for you to get up again, it is necessary for you to know what is going to happen. And I am here to tell you this. I have no idea how you are feeling right now, and that is a very strange notion for me. Do you know that? I usually feel you, I usually experience you, even when I'm not having this type of communication. Even when we are not coming in such a fashion like right now and communicating with you, and that which you call channeling or shouts or Ekarayas or whatever you want to call it. I usually feel you every single moment, every breath that you take. And right now, there's a group of about 40 people sitting across me, and I'm not feeling anything. Isn't that strange, lady? No. You know why? It's because you are at a point of transformation, possible transformation. And it is a transformation that will not allow you to go back to your old self. You see. Now, if there's anything that the energy of mind wants, it's to keep you in a space where you can be dominated. I know. I have been where you are right now. I have sat opposite an energy such like mine. Only at that time, I didn't even realize that I could get to this point where I am right now. You probably aren't realizing it either. Maybe there's a little bit of glimmer, a little bit of hope, but you don't realize the potential, my dear, dear family, that lies right in front of you right now. I'm not talking about him, he's lying in front of you too. But I'm talking about mastery. I'm talking about claiming that one thing that you have been trying to claim for such a long time. And the moment it appears right in front of you, the moment that you have a chance to actually make it work, you think that the water is too hot, or that jump is too high, you step back. Oh, I've been there. I've been there. In fact, if this channeling would have a name, if it needed one, because it would be published somewhere, which it won't, it would be titled, I Have Been There. Because I have. I sat in the chairs. I went through the experiences. I had the pains. I had the fears. I had the doubt. I had all of it. And it seemed at certain points in my life that nobody could actually come into my life with whatever tools or whatever else they would have and take that fear and that pain and that anxiety away. Nobody. And that's right. And so one day, during my evolution, after I had already met my master at the time, she would come into my room. I was in the same energy that you are in right now. She pushed me down on the bed because I saw in her eyes that this would be a serious conversation. And usually when there would be serious conversations, I had a tendency to run. I need to go to the apple trees. I said that. Or I need to be on myself. I need to be with the sheep. But she pushed me down on the bed. She said to me, I can't feel you. And I didn't understand. Much probably like you are now not understanding the fact that I, Adamus, have difficulty feeling you. Why is that? How could this be? How could it be that an energy that has gone through the things I have gone through has this lack, the disability to feel that which is a part of him, herself? Oh. It's not so negative as you might think. It is because, my fellow Imzaia, you are standing on a threshold. You are not in one type of energy, yet you are not in the other. You see, you are standing in a space that isn't your old life, that you have known for such a long time, and yet you haven't breached that space that would be all that is, that would be that new life that you have prayed for, that you have hoped for so long. And there is this center space that you are in right now. And there's so many reasons why you are not able to just go forward and you are not able to go back either. You're just standing in between. No man's land. It's a space that will not stay active for very long. It is a bubble. A bubble that you have created yourselves. A protective shell, if you will. The only difference between my experience back then and your experience right now is that you are creating a shell that's about 40 people big. That's one hell of a shell, isn't it? And this bubble is made up of an energy that brings with it, and this is what you should know, and this is actually the good news, that brings with it all those potentials, all those things that might have gone wrong if your life had followed the same path that you were on when you were in duality. Some are starting to understand. Some are starting to understand that you can't just step away from something that you have already created. Oh my Imzaia, you have already created your lives. You had already created all the trauma and all the drama and all the negativity and all the pain, and all the suffering that was still going to be a part of your existence. You see, you had already created it. It was already scripted out, already there, waiting to emerge. Just like the good potentials, just like that love that would come into your life, or that money that would come your way, or that disease that would be healed. And so, all of these potentials are standing still right now. Now, if potentials are moving, like all potentials are always moving, you can't really experience them because they haven't manifested yet. You see? They're just twirling around you and going so fast. I'm just using a metaphor here. They're going so fast that you can't see that they're there. So, as you have an experience, as you go through something, so these experiences will come in as potentials. I'm not going to go technical right now. I'll leave that up to Ekara. He loves that shit. But I'm not going to do that. Oh yeah, I'm still trying to figure out if you're getting used to us speaking like normal people, huh? Oh yeah. Well, get ready. So Ekara loves all these things. But I don't. I at least no more, no longer. I like things simple. I like things easy. So many years I have studied. So many years I have tried to understand all. Until I learned the biggest truth of all. That knowing all happens when you stop looking. You know, you could actually put me, Adamus, in front of any audience and ask me to speak about anything. It would be there. It's because I'm not looking for it. I'm not studying anymore. I'm not trying to get all this knowledge to me. If I were to ask you, for instance, to stand in front of an audience and to speak about rocket science. Yeah, that. It would be difficult for you. Why? Because there would be a thought that you need to learn something. Something which is outside of you. I like the simple things now. Because I know that when I need certain information, I am going to be the universe answering that to myself. Giving it to me. Same goes for potentials. The more you look for them, the more you look for the good ones, the less likely are they going to manifest. Because the more you look around, trying to find all of these things, you're forgetting what is right in front of you. Because you can't see it. Because they're moving too fast. They're going too fast for your brain. And even your akene sometimes, when you are in this shell of a body anyway, to pick them up. And when that is happening, I can feel you like I would feel myself. But now everything has stopped. You are in a space, a bubble of your own creation, where there is no movement towards the past, no movement towards the future whatsoever.
What happened with Adam, by the way?
You want Adam?
Yeah.
If you would like to call me Adam, call me Adam. How about Adam G? Shall I rap next time?
I like it.
So you are in a space, together with Adam G, where nothing is moving. There is no past, there is no future. This basically is what it would be to die. You see? For if you die, there is a moment out of time, a moment outside of time and space, where nothing is going on, and you have no future and you have no past, and things are clear. You can go anywhere.
But then it's too late.
Sorry?
But then it's too late.
Yes, but right now you have a problem, and that's why I came in first, to help you fix this problem. Because if I wouldn't come, if I wouldn't do this, if we wouldn't do all of this together, you wouldn't be able to continue with your gathering. You wouldn't be able to do all of the things that you need to do in the coming days. And believe me, there are going to be lots of things to go through. The problem that you have right now is that everything has stopped. There is no past, and there is no future, and all around you is a wall of all the potentials that you were going to manifest in your near and far away future. All the negative ones are in a layer just around you, surrounding you, almost enveloping your energy. And outside of that, there's a second layer filled with all the positive ones. Because they can't exist in the same space field time together. They can't. They must be separate at all times. And this is basically actually that which is manifesting their movement. The fact that you bring them together activates the potential field, you see. Now you have taken them apart. And there is a layer of negativity, negative potential, and a layer of positivity. When you enter into that space, Imzaia, that's a space where I can't feel you, where no one can feel you, but you have a unique opportunity in that space. Since you are everywhere and nowhere at all, you can now choose. And you can only choose once, I'm afraid. At least this time, the space can be created again. But once you're in it, you either choose to go back from where you came, or you choose to go forward. Can you believe that when that time came, I, Adamus, chose to go back? Not proud of myself for saying that, but I'm saying it nonetheless. I chose to go back. The difference between you and me was that I had been in training for months. I had been learned, taught, whatever you want to call it. All of these things, all of these insights have been given to me. Like some of you have had just the other day, a couple of days ago. Imagine that period of time expanded by months of that type of information about the mind, information about fear, information about pain, information about consciousness. Being confronted with all of these things on a daily basis. When that time came, I couldn't take it anymore. So I said, no, thank you. I cannot believe that I can experience this. So I am going to go away. And I said goodbye to my guide or master or whatever you want to call it. I packed my bags, the little things I had, and I left. I was sure I was going to go home. Home, back to my family, which were rich. Back to the coldness of the castle walls. And the strange thing was, at that moment, I was even looking forward to it. So I left. I started walking. And I had even tried to forget all of that information. I had tried to forget everything I knew. I wished not to know it anymore. I was looking forward to finding a pub, because my master, she didn't like the fact that I had an addiction towards alcohol before I started my journey with her. So that type of form, that type of object was something that was held away from me, because I desired it, you see. I needed to go beyond form, so I hadn't been drinking for months at that point. And I was looking forward to finding a pub, people around there not knowing who I was anyway, and probably also finding someone to sleep with that night. I was looking forward to finally being human again. You see, I was looking forward to all of those things. Making my own mistakes, being silly, destroying myself. Isn't it fun to destroy yourself? Well, I can tell you, I never made it to that pub. I never made it to that space. I left from that house and I started walking. And at that point in time, of course, you didn't have cars. You had carriages and that sort of thing. And I was looking down the road, about 20 meters down the road, and I saw there a flower. But this wasn't just a flower. This was a flower that was aware, that was in presence. I understood, because I had learned at that point that that flower was all life as well, representing all life. And as I was walking down the path and I started noticing the flower, I also noticed how the sun would come behind the clouds and how it would light up that flower. And my fellow Imzaia, having worked with trying to abstain from all desire for such a long time, and then being outside of the presence of those who were teaching me, all of a sudden something came upon me. A desire greater than the desire for drinking, greater than the desire for having sex with someone, greater than the desire of knowing everything, greater than any type of desire. I wanted that flower. I needed to have it. Sounds stupid, I know. I wanted that flower, and I shall have it too. So I stepped towards it, and I just tore it out of the ground, and I ate it.
You died.
I didn't die. Something inside of me did, though. Something did. For all of a sudden, I saw the beauty that it had, that I had disturbed it, that I had destroyed it, I had consumed it. It sounds like a strange story, but it won't be so strange when I tell you the next part. As I felt devastated because of what I had done, and now you might think, why would you feel devastated because you plucked a flower and you ate it? Well, to me, that object wasn't a flower, it was life. It was beauty. It was there on my path as a reminder of where I had come from, the perfection that I had been in, the lessons that I was learning, and instead of letting it be, instead of trying to enhance the position it was in, I destroyed it, you see. But the next part of the story is that at that point, I noticed a little bit further down the road, maybe a couple of meters, there was a tree. And inside of the tree, a person. Kuan Yin. Now, Kuan Yin, as some of you might know already, is the one that came into my life as my teacher, as my master, to teach me about all of the things that I am now teaching you, and so many others are teaching you. There she was, sitting in that tree on a branch, in her hand, holding that flower. And something inside of me just broke. Something inside of me started crying. But Imzaia, it was a pain that was so deep. So deep. It was a fear, it was a loneliness, it was an anxiety, it was something that I've never experienced before and probably will never experience again. But it was there. I was crying because of a flower. I was crying because of the universe. I was crying because of myself. I was crying because on that moment, on that day, I realized my space within the universe, my space within all things, and how easy it was for all of us to destroy everything. Now that flower was placed there by Kuan Yin. She did that. She created it in such a way that it would be an object of desire, one bigger than anything else that you'd ever see. But still, I destroyed beauty. I destroyed something that was unique, that was perfection. And then I knew, even if I were to walk on, to go to that bar, to have that drink, to have that woman, or man at that point, because she had done many things with me, I realized that it could never get better. It would always get worse. And when I had that realization, when I knew that I would meet perfection in so many shapes, and I would destroy it every single time because I thought I wouldn't be worthy, at that point, I suddenly snapped back. I was back in that room. And a little bit disoriented, but already used to it by then because she had done it to me so many times. I realized that I had gone through a time loop. And again there was a knock on my door, and she came in. And again she asked me to sit down. This time I sat down. And again she asked me if I realized that she couldn't feel me. And at that point, I looked her into the eyes and I said, "No. No, you are mistaken." She opened her eyes a little bit wider. She said, "Oh, am I?" I said, "Yes, yes. Thank you for the lesson." I said, "I now understand. It isn't you who isn't feeling me. It is I that am not allowing you to feel me. I am perfection," I said. "I am that I am." And something came over me. And as I said, I had said it hundreds of times before because she kept on asking me to say that. I am that I am. "Good morning, Adamus. Say it again. I am that I am." At that point, something came over me. And I opened up my hand and I said, "I am that I am perfect." And as I said that, my beloved Imzaia, I manifested my first flower. And it was as perfect and as beautiful as the one that was there just meters away from the house. And all she did was look at me. And she said, "You know, Adamus, you might make it after all. Come with me," she said. And we went outside. There was that space where I had destroyed the flower, or so I thought. And she took it from my hand. And she put it there in the ground. And she said, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Yes." I didn't know what I was saying yes to, but I had learned that when she said, "Are you ready?" you better say yes. So "Are you ready?" "Yes." And all of a sudden, we were a bit further down the road, all of a sudden, I felt my feet change. I felt my body change. I felt myself opening up. And there was a tree. Now, she had done that to me before, but I knew what that was like. But there I was, enjoying being that tree. And she climbed inside of me, in my branches. And I got to witness, in all of my perfection, in my newfound power, how that old aspect of myself that had said goodbye to myself and to all my training before, just mere minutes before, walked down that path, thinking about drinking and having sex. I found that flower, destroying it, eating it, and suddenly I realized that all I had done was just destroy my own creation. For that flower was manifested from my own hand. Then it hit me. I had mastered time. I was consciously experiencing a time loop, seeing myself again doing that deed. And in the same day that I mastered form, manifesting a flower, I manifested time. By taking the power of time away and mastering that illusion. So that's what you do. When you master an illusion, you manifest it any way you see fit, you see. And I must say that after that, just days later, was the mastery of space. Days after that came the mastery of exchange and all the others. What I'm saying to you now is you are in that same space as I was in back then. Now, of course, things are slightly different for you. I had been training for months to learn how to manifest these things. And my path was a different one. Sometimes in your life will enter someone who will take you through this process on a one-on-one basis. But if not, it will always happen somehow. In the end. Or at least a chance will be given to you. Now, Imzaia, before we start this meeting, I want to know if you are aware what chance is being given to you here. The chance that you have created for yourself. A chance to master all of the illusions. A chance to go beyond. To go beyond everything that you have known. And there are some here that would like to go all the way. And then there are others who are here to taste the energy. They're here to feel what is happening. Maybe you weren't aware of the chance that would be given to you here in the coming days. So I wanted to come in personally and tell you this, to let you know what potential rests here on your lap. What you can actually do in the coming days. What you can actually be aware of if you were aware of it. It's that simple. You can make this happen if you stay in focus. You can make this happen if you open yourself up long enough to let that free energy come out. I'm not saying that you will go home having mastered time and space and form and all of these things. But I am saying that you might go home walking the path. And once you are walking that path, there is no way back. It will take you all over this planet and beyond. But you must be aware that you need to make a choice. You need to choose in the coming hours. If you don't make that choice, then it will be presented to you again at a later point in time. Like it will always be presented to you. But if you are just here, not to do the work, but just to experience the energy and just to enjoy yourself, well then I must sadly disappoint you, because that's not what's going to happen. This might not be as enjoyable as you might think. You might feel like crap by the end of tomorrow night. And then, as you are in that room, being crap, as humans can do, maybe, just maybe, you will see a star in the sky. And maybe, just maybe, there will be the realization that what you are looking at is nothing else than one of your molecules. One of your molecules that holds inside of it the power of an entire universe, you might see that. Or you never know. At that point there might be a knock on your door, right here, and a potential might start up that will bring you on a path that you had never thought might happen to you. So, having told you what I have told you, you now know what lies in store, the potential, the possibilities that lie in store. If you, at a certain point, because we're gonna take another break after this, because you need some time, you need a moment on yourself, and I would suggest that you go outside and that you touch a tree, that you find your own flower, that you see what you can do with the universe. You know, Imzaia, I myself, Adamus, together with Ekara, together with Katumi, and together with Lamoya, and together with all those other incarnations that Ekara has been at one point in its existence, haven't brought out this concept of ambassadors of free energy for nothing. It is our aim to start working with all of you, if you so choose, so that you can help others to step away from this, to step away from being stuck, to step away from being a slave of a system that will never support you. And as you do, and as you help others, help others, help others, this world will at one point be free. And you don't have to achieve that full sense of liberation immediately. You can still help others as you are learning it yourselves, as it is happening to you. And we will be there, guiding you, supporting you, making sure that you have the tools, or at least that you remember the tools that you need to do this great work. Now, I am not saying that all of you should start making flyers and pamphlets saying, "The meaning of life, now presented by Jan." I'm not saying that. I'm not saying to trademark anything or to whatever it is you're calling it these days, to branch it. I'm just saying that you will find your own way to do this, and that you will be supported. And some of you might help the children, and some of you might help those people that are stuck in the business life, and some of you might feel called to help those women that think that they're nothing and that all that they should do all day is sit at home and wait for someone to bring in the money to come back, and then to be a slave to that person. I believe it is called being a housewife these days. Now, I'm not saying that every housewife is that desperate, and that every housewife is that way. Yeah, I love that show. I really need to write an episode for that show. But I'm just saying that it's happening to so many people, getting stuck, not knowing where to go. You as ambassadors can assist support, facilitate, be a sovereign servant. But before you can do that, we must learn several things to you. Help you remember several insights that you might have forgotten. But to bring you back to the beginning of this story, you're still sitting in your cocoon. You're still sitting in your bubble where all of those potentials that would manifest in your life as it was originally scripted are still there. And in mere minutes from now, I am going to ask you to go outside and to make that choice. Are you going to step forward or are you going to step back? And as you step forward, you might feel slightly insecure. Because obviously you don't know half of the things you're going to get involved with. If you did, you'd probably go away. That was one sentence too much, wasn't it? Well, anyway, I can't guarantee you a lot of fun, but I can guarantee you a world of joy, and a world of love, and a world of freedom. Letting go of the mind may suck, but embracing consciousness, well, what can I say? How can words find meaning there? Imzaia. Embracing consciousness. That is the choice that is now presented to you. So walk the path. Find the flower. And try to see where both paths may lead you. I guarantee you that it is my sacred duty and that of Ekara and Kudumi and Imzaia and all of the others to continue to support you as you are walking the path. That's our sacred mission. That's the reason that we haven't reincarnated again, that we have stayed on this side of the veil, as you are calling it still, so that we could support you in this work. And we are even coming back. We are reincarnating so that we can support you from this angle. But we have waited until this moment in time. I'm not talking about this very minute. I'm talking about 2007 and the years that are ahead. We have waited until this moment in time to support you as we have found our own way to this unity consciousness, to source, whatever you want to call it. We are now here helping you, being a sovereign servant to you as you will walk that path. And as you will cross that bridge, I guarantee you, if you just do the work, if you just allow yourself to open up further than you've ever gone, that you will reach the other side. You will. Now there are only just a few here who will end up working with me in the very same way as Jeshua now is working with me and with others. Just a few in this room. And there are others that will do other things, but it will be the same work. It will be based on the same principle. It will lead to the same goal. And in the coming minutes, think of this, and then choose wisely. Choose if you want to go through this experience, if you want to have this. I can only tell you from my own personal experience when I was sitting in that cocoon that you are in right now. That if you don't choose to go forward on the path that you have manifested for yourself, that you will probably do it anyway at another point in your life. So if I can give you my advice, don't back away now. There is an option here, created for you, created by you. Make it happen. We are done giving you all the spiritual information of infinite dimension and having to watch you do nothing with it. We are working with you now on a practical level. And you will see all of our messengers that are all around the world change that attitude. The time has come. So, what else can I say? But to go out in nature, I will come back together with Ekara right after you're here again to give you the rest of the perspectives and insights, and to give you an overview of how this actually works. Have fun. Trying to find your flower. Have fun. Trying to choose that different path. For that's all it is. The reasons why the potentials have stopped, why nothing else is manifesting in your life right now, why you are appearing dead. It's very simple. It's just because that other path that might open up for you if you choose it, that's the only reason why it will open up, because you choose it fully and completely. The only reason is that that path is filled with a completely new set of potentials. Not just potentials for your future, but potentials for your past as well. And that's the kicker, isn't it? And if you choose this path, if you go there, then your life, as it would develop, won't. But also the life that you have lived will take on a different course in the past as well. Because you need a different angle. It's very difficult to explain this to you from a linear perspective that you're sitting in right now. But obviously, from the point where I'm sitting, I see not just one road for you that you can just walk, which is called the future, but I also see a path called the past. This thing is cool. I like sound effects. There's a place called the past. That you can walk on. 2. So your future can be your past. And your past can be your future. But anyway, we are in a good energy right now to end this communication. And to see you in, let's say, half an hour. as you make a life-changing decision. You need nothing else than half an hour for that, would you say?
Well, we're dead anyways.
You're dead anyway, yeah. Well, my beloved ones, it was nice having this chat with you as always. I'll see you later. Have fun exploring you. And I hope to see all of you here again in about half an hour. And with that, I say the only thing that left for me to say, I am that I am perfection. And so it is.
And so it is. So sweet, Imzaia. That was a beautiful story. Make sure it's not just a story. Make your decision. See you in half an hour.